Welcome to release question 155 for CAHSEE Math. It says this: a flower shop delivery van traveled these distances during 1 week: 104.4, 117.8, 92.3, 168.7, and 225.6 miles. How many gallons of gas were used by the delivery van during this week? So we are trying to figure out how many gallons of gas. So how many gallons would be used? What other information is needed in order to solve this problem? So I'm going to go through these one at a time and see if we can eliminate the wrong ones. The one that's not wrong is going to be right. That's the one that's going to be what we need. And so it looks like we have these distances here and we've got the gallons of gas. That's what we're trying to find here. So think of this problem like this. You have your miles per gallon. You may have heard of MPG before. That's miles per gallon. That's what that stands for. Miles per gallon, or MPG. The word per in math refers to dividing something by something. So miles, this would be the distance, the miles, divided by the gallons. So divided by the gasoline used. So the distance traveled, that's the miles, over the gasoline used. Or in other words, the gallons. So there's where our miles per gallon comes in. What information do we have? Well, it looks like we know the distance traveled right here. So let's make a little note of that. This part, this is still divided by there. This, we know this part. And we're trying to figure out how many gallons were used. So this is what we want to find out right here. We want to find this out. And so it sure would be nice if we knew what the miles per gallon were for the van. If we knew that, then we could figure out, since we know this part, and if we knew that part, we would have the two parts. We could solve for this missing part right here. And so let's think of this like that. So we would be able to figure out the gallons if we knew the miles per gallon. So let's say something like this: if we knew the MPG, we could figure out the gallons used, something like that. So that's the thought process going on here. Notice I haven't really checked my answer choices yet. I'm just thinking, brainstorming what I think the answer is going to be. So I'm going to start looking at these now and figure out what I've got here. So choice A, the average speed traveled in miles per hour. Is the speed going to be relevant to the number of gasoline, or the amount of gasoline used here? You might get less miles per gallon, but that doesn't tell you what your miles per gallon are. The average speed, so this one, I would say no on that one. It's not that one. The cost of gasoline, that's irrelevant, because the cost of gasoline doesn't have a bearing upon how much gas you actually have to use, or how many gallons you actually use. It's just going to jack the price up a little bit there. So choice C, the average number of miles per gallon for the van. There we go. If we remember from here, if we knew that, then we could figure out, since we know this part, we could figure out that part. This looks like the right choice. Let's just check D and make sure that that doesn't make sense. So the number of different deliveries the van made, no, we wouldn't need to know how many deliveries the van made to know how many gallons of gas we used. So that's another piece of irrelevant information that we wouldn't need. So number 155, choice C.